A to the K.
To the K.
To the K.
Hello one and all, welcome to the A to the K Wrestling Show, where we are back once again with another episode of 10! This time we are talking 10 WWE pay-per-views that need to be brought back.
So, Carl, we're not talking premium live events, are we not?
Interchangeable, they may be.
Even though my glasses, that's it.
We may have also done a take of this before, it didn't go well, so I knew what was coming, and it made me laugh anyway.
Indeed.
But
obviously, we're talking anything that is not your normal weekly show, correct?
Indeed. Any pay-per-view
Or any
live
mark
events,
goes,
anything.
well, that's a premium live event. Never has been a pay-per-view.
Criteria is that it hasn't taken place this year.
Okay, because that's a bit difficult, because some of the first one actually that I'm going to mention, if you want to jump over to it, Extreme Rules.
Yeah,
because we didn't have one this year.
we didn't.
But this has probably been, of the ones on the list, has probably been the most recent. Now, Carl, Extreme Rules kind of birthed itself from gross from
Pretty extreme.
from Over the Limit,
Yes.
as I recall. So you could even argue, do we want to bring back Over the Limit? But I'm going to go with Extreme Rules because I think it's a better title. But
Yeah.
what I want is Extreme Rules to be back as a proper pay-per-view, not a NXT thing or anything like that, like they did, or the horror show Extreme Rules.
Yeah.
And I want it to actually mean Extreme Rules.
Mhm.
So the original concept for Over the Limit and subsequently Extreme Rules was the main event was an Extreme stipulation match, such
Yes.
as like I Quit or a Steel Cage or some shit like that. Now, I don't want them to just randomly, because the issue I've had with the likes of Hell in Cell's pay-per-view was, let's just have a Hell in Cell match. Like, we both like each other, we're best friends, but, fuck it, we have to be in the
Hell in
cell.
Cell's coming up, so
the
we gotta-
pay-per-view.
Yeah, we gotta put
Like,
something.
no, I want it to be relevant in the sense of like that your grudge match goes on as the main event and is settled at Extreme Rules in an Extreme Rules match. So we know you got all these strap matches and all that bollocks. This is where you place it. So that's what I think. I think Extreme Rules should be back, and it should be back in that form. And while we're talking about being playful with pay-per-views here, do we even put some level of ECW styling on this particular pay-per-view, given that the brand is still owned by WWE and hardly used?
Yeah, bring back the zombie. Why not?
Well, not so much of that. I'm thinking some barbed wire.
Yeah.
In the E, maybe get the E from ECW in Extreme Rules. Just,
I like it.
the little nod.
So you're thinking there's only one extreme match and it's the main event and the rest are normal, or are you thinking they're all stipulation?
At the very least, the main event, like the concept should be the main event is the stipulation match. Now, I'm not saying limit yourself and go, we can't have any other stipulation matches, but the main event has to be. I don't want a pay-per-view here where you go, well, we all dressed up funny in like Halloween costumes. Like, no. I want an actual Extreme Rules match, at least one. Yeah. As the main event. Whatever you do with the rest of the card is flexible. If you want to have a tag match or a normal singles match, I get it, because putting extreme matches on the whole pay-per-view might be a bit onerous. But I think the original stipulation of the main event has to be a Extreme Rules match. I think that is the concept I would put it with, and I think this should be monthly, not a monthly pay-per-view. That would be very extreme.
Every month, Extreme Rules.
It should be dedicated once a year pay-per-view.
I agree.
Not let's abandon it because we're bored.
Yes, 100%. I think it deserves to be brought back.
Can I just, sorry, before we move on?
No.
Sorry, no, not about Extreme Rules. You could have kept that slide up.
Okay.
Just while we're talking, one overall concept. Or we can maybe discuss it at the end, but I think we should talk about brand split as well in terms of pay-per-views, because some of these pay-per-views have been like, oh, this is a Raw exclusive in this one. So maybe we'll tackle it at the end, but just while it's in my mind, I'm going to put it out in the ether.
So speaking of brand splits, bragging rights, number 9. So I think this needs to come back, but with a twist, because I'm not really asked about the brand split. I think we have said before, like, Survivor Series, for example, it's like, oh, it's about brand supremacy, and I've only been on Raw a week, but I fucking hate SmackDown. It's like, really? So I don't believe that. But what I do think we should have once a year is bragging rights where the main roster takes on developmental. Because them must be your real bragging rights. Imagine you've got, NXT guys getting wins over main roster talent, and then they've got bragging rights then, saying you might think we're just developmental, but no, we can kick your ass.
I like that.
Right? So for me, this should be an annual showcase of the NXT talent where, you take the ones that you think, how these can do on the main roster, you put them against main roster guys on pay-per-view. It doesn't matter if they win or lose, but you then test them out and be like, how do they do? Then you've got, the whole concept of bragging rights where you developmental, if they just own up to it and stop treating it as a fair brand, if they just face into the fact it's a developmental kind of part of the business, then they can get bragging rights by beating the main roster.
I like it. So it's Survivor Series-esque in a way, but
it is Survivor
with
Series
a bit more purpose than Survivor Series ever had.
Yeah, because like Survivor Series was based on the Survivor Series match where it's a 5-on-5, and now it's become it's the Raw vs SmackDown matches, and it's like, okay, but you know, for me, it makes more sense to have bragging rights.
I think it needs more purpose. That's why Survivor Series kind of became a bit of a damn squib, because it didn't have a purpose. You know, bragging rights. I think that's the way to go.
Yeah. So every year, that's what I want to see. Opportunity for NXT, because at the minute you've got all these main roster folks going down there to try and pop a rating, and then like, how long's that going to last? Like, put them on a friggin' premium live event or a pay-per-view, and actually
that would be the way to do it.
You know, get them exposed that way. So,
and you can even then justify why main roster talent are going down to NXT, because they're setting shit up, aren't they?
Well, exactly. Yeah,
that's where you do your promos and shit before the pay-per-view.
Yeah, and like that way you're gonna get more eyeballs on your NXT, because you're gonna get people going there with a purpose, because they're like, well, oh, you know, I've heard you called me out for bragging rights.
You know what? I got bored on the main roster, so I'm going to come and win your belt for a while.
Exactly.
Which seems to be the thing.
So it has a bit of purpose then. And you can even put, like, I don't know, have the stakes a bit higher or something. Like, I don't know how you would do that. But if NXT get more wins than WWE, then such a stipulation. I don't know.
I mean, if you really want to go over the top, you could say, you know, the brand that wins ultimately gets the Thursday night show.
Ooh. Damn. So yeah, but that's what I would do. Bring back bragging rights, but NXT versus WWE.
Nice. So, Carl, I thought I'd throw this one in there, because WWE have never really used this brand. So, Starrcade, for those who don't know, was WCW's equivalent to WrestleMania. And I won't just say WCW, I believe this was originally started in NWA, correct me if I'm wrong.
I think so.
But Starrcade was their equivalent to WrestleMania. So has that sort of history there for WCW fanboys. And I was thinking, oh, surely they'd want to use that IP. And WWE have used it, but only ever really done house shows with it. I think they did a handful of house shows in the late 2000s. And we're maybe possibly doing something with it. Even rumours that they were going to do something with it, and then the pandemic kind of stopped it. But I don't even know if this necessarily needs to be a regular pay-per-view, but I think we need to embrace the Starrcade, and against a bit of a nostalgic revisit to WCW, and introduce a Starrcade pay-per-view that's actually on TV and stadium and such.
Yeah. It's an interesting one, really, because, as you say, I don't think WWE leverage the IPs of WCW and ECW as much as they probably should. And you have got an event with a lot of history here in Starrcade that you could revisit and do stuff with. But I like the idea of it not even necessarily being an annual thing, but maybe like every 5 years or something. And it's not like it's bigger than WrestleMania, but you have like a Starrcade event that's kind of built up. And
well, interestingly, would you consider it bigger than the other three?
What do you mean?
So we got the big four in WWE. Are we saying all four of theirs are bigger than Starrcade, or would you say Starrcade is probably after WrestleMania in terms of notoriety?
I mean, we love the Rumble, don't we?
That's the thing.
I mean,
that is the thing.
SummerSlam's a bit hit and miss for me in Survivor Series. I don't know.
People put it over SummerSlam and Survivor Series because they're just names to me. But Royal Rumble, absolute key.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. Or even, you know what you could do with this? If WWE do ever decide to break open that forbidden door a little, a Starrcade event could be a place to do that. Stars from...
Ooh, now I like that.
Stars from around the world.
That's a cool idea.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
A way to bring it back, a way to have a bit of a WCW feel.
But yeah, I think using that IP is just a great idea for the connection to WCW, because we don't want that getting lost now.
No, definitely.
A lot of history there.
Indeed. But yeah, there's a bit of a dark horse, I think, that one. So I like it. Next, we're going to talk Clash at the Castle, right? And we had some discussions about this. So the UK used to have regular pay-per-views coming over, whether it was Rebellion or Insurrextion, and then we just got fuck all for ages. And then they brought Clash at the Castle over to Wales. So, you know.
Yeah.
But they brought it over. It's fucking epic. One of the best main events with the biggest swerve and everything. It was fantastic, really good. And then it's like, well, the following year we got Money in the Bank, which I'm not going to turn my nose up at because it's Money in the Bank. But I like the idea of having every year in probably your biggest fucking international market of having a UK pay-per-view. Yeah. That always happens every year. The fans can be like, oh, fucking hell, I can't wait for Clash. Right? And Triple H is like, well, we're not going to bring it back because I don't think there's that many castles. And it's like...
only a few hundred trips.
Yeah, like, do you even look at a fucking map?
Do you know what? I've sort of thought about that for a little bit as well when you're saying about that. It's like, so you can only use the castle once. What's the deal here? Like,
Yeah.
You never went back to the MGM, no?
Well, yeah.
I don't quite know what you're getting at, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what if they did it in Cardiff every fucking year? I wouldn't be upset with that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you can
But
go back to the
plenty
same
of castles,
place.
that being said.
And even if you did it in a location where there isn't any castles around, it's like, it doesn't really fucking matter. Like, you went in a castle anyway, let's be honest. We did it in Wales.
Well, yeah.
It was, nearby.
Yeah.
But
Clash nearby the castle, just have the same ring to it.
So just call it Clash of the Castle, make it all, medieval branded.
Yeah, because that's what they want to lean to, the sort of the regal side of the monarchy and stuff like that. Well, not the monarchy because they were in Wales.
Yeah,
but
you've got all your King Arthur shit and all that. It's not like exclusive to
Merlin
Wales.
and all that bollocks. We're proper know our
Scotland,
history.
they've all got fucking everything. So
castles everywhere, mate.
Exactly. So
you could have it in America and have Clash at the White Castle. It's all good.
Clash of Denny's. But yeah, I definitely think the UK deserves an annual pay-per-view. And as cool as it was getting Money in the Bank, and as cool as it is having talked to WrestleMania and SummerSlam, I'm kind of not asked. I just want to have an annual event.
I'm a bit concerned about the talks of WrestleMania, because didn't they do that quite recently as well with another area? Where'd they go? Was it when they went to Puerto Rico? They did the same thing. I think they deserve a WrestleMania. So you're just going to say this everywhere you go now?
Basically, yeah. Every new territory. And then
you react's the biggest.
Yeah. So, because they want it in Mexico and places now as well, don't they? So, look, I just think the UK deserves it. Every year, they should be here for a massive show, not just like a TV taping. We should get the fucking top caliber stuff.
I think, looking at how well Clash was received, surely you keep the IP going.
Yeah, I think so.
Is the T
it's a
Drew's sword?
It's a sword.
Is that Drew's sword?
Yeah, it's a sword in the ground. Isn't it pretty?
It is.
So yeah, keep it going.
Keep it going.
Move it all around the UK.
Nice. So, Carl, in your house, and this might be a bit of a controversial.
One of your houses is a castle.
Well,
this might be a bit controversial.
Fucking hell. In your castle. So in your house, Carl, right? I want to talk about it because this is kind of a forgotten thing. Well, not forgotten. We haven't forgotten because NXT wouldn't fucking let us. But in your house has kind of been like, they originally brought in your house in as like, well, we've got the big five because we had King of the Ring and we cared about it back then. And we want to put, introduce more pay-per-views and put stuff in between it. So they did like smaller pay-per-views, which were the In Your House shows. Mm-hmm. So they had like various subtitles. I think the first one was literally just called In Your House. And they were like, well, we're going to make more. So let's do like In Your House, No Way Out of Texas and stuff like that, Trying to remember one, desperately trying to remember one.
Yeah. Well, I think they did loads, didn't they? Like Over the Head, Bad Blood, all them ones that ended up turning into.
Well, a lot of them evolved into pay-per-views, so you could argue In Your House never really went away. They just rebranded them with their own titles. But I think, looking at the way it was received when NXT certainly did the first one, I mean, I'll follow this up in a sec, but they did the first one and they did the proper nostalgic pop. They made it look like the In Your House. They even brought the old announcer guy back. I can't remember his name.
Oh god, yeah, they did.
And I love
Sean Mooney.
Thank you. I love the nostalgic pop of it all, and I thought, you know what? As a brand, I think it's very colourful. It's very cool, and I would go beyond just NXT, and I would maybe introduce it in the original form it was of having maybe some shorter pay-per-views, more digestible, hour to 2 hour long pay-per-views rather than what we get at the minute. It's like, it's 2 days, this one, live with it.
Yeah.
This is where you put your smaller stuff and maybe actually use it to develop your different, like, not like your main event stuff, like your shorter feuds, because let's face it, the mid-card needs more storytelling. And this is where you could do more storytelling, more payoff for those stories. So I think In Your House as a concept should be something that returns, but I'm open to the debate on it because I know a lot of it evolved into what we have now as pay-per-views, like Judgment Day, which may or may not come up on the list, was In Your House Judgment Day originally. So I know a lot of it came from that, like you say, Bad Blood, etc. So, arguably it's kind of the birth of a lot of these pay-per-views, but still.
What is it with you and births?
I don't. But what I will say is, evidently, Carl, I only found this out doing research for this. Yes, I research. I know it doesn't feel like it. But when I was looking at the pay-per-views that we may have wanted on this list, turns out they did In Your House too. NXT in Your House. Well, they had NXT TakeOver in Your House, and then just NXT in Your House.
He had about 3 or 4, didn't he?
2.
Yeah, 3 or 4, didn't he?
2.
Yeah, 3 or 4, didn't he?
2.
Yeah, 3 or 4, didn't he?
And
how many did they have? Tell us in the comments.
They had 21 and 22. That was it. They haven't done.
Hang on, I thought it was 2. Now there's 21 of them. Make your mind.
Hey,
I'm pretty sure they did 3 or 4.
Right, I disagree. Okay. Right, but the point is, the most recent one they had in 2022, because they haven't done one in 23 yet. Yeah. I say yet. nearly over, and I think they did them in June time, so probably not going to have one this year. But the one he did in 22, I think main evented with Bron Breakker, and I don't even remember it happening. So maybe the In Your House brand isn't quite what I made it out to be.
No,
because I don't even remember them.
Do you know what I'd like to see? Maybe it might stray away from the concept here a little bit, but as a network special.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Not even as like a
good way of getting people
like,
online, or
an hour, 2 hour Peacock special, or whatever, and just be like,
and it's colourful enough to be on Peacock. Yeah, that makes sense.
Exactly.
Look at the bright colours, everyone.
Yeah, just be literally change that logo, just have a peacock sticking out of the house. Done.
Yeah. Peacock in your house.
Yeah. So yeah, I like that.
I like it as a network special. That's a good idea.
Yeah, bring it back. So the next one I want to talk about.
Interesting choice of thumbnail, Carl.
It was the only high resolution one available.
I'm sure it was.
Yes.
Not the one with Hulk Hogan on it, no.
No.
I don't even know if he was ever on one.
Hi, Tori Wilson.
Feels like he should have been on one.
We met you. You were cool. But the next one I want to talk about is the Great American Bash, right? And I know NXT have flirted with the concept of the Great American Bash over the last couple of years, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you've got Cody fucking Rhodes on your roster now. This event is synonymous with Dusty. It makes sense, I think, around 4th of July to do the Great American Bash. It's Independence Day. It's all about America. The fireworks.
Cody just to lose his fucking mind.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
If you give him a Great American Bash on the 4th of July, he's just going to wank himself silly.
Yeah.
You just...
Who doesn't want to see that?
Who doesn't want to see that?
But I just think
that's basically Cody's attire, the Tory's wearing right there. He's going to fucking love that, Carl.
Cody will be much more revealing. But I think, similar to the way the UK deserves something every year, like, it's mad to me that it's like we have... whatever the fuck we have in June or July at the minute, like Money in the Bank, I think. And then we have nothing till SummerSlam, which is in August. And it's like, you've literally got fucking Independence Day on the 4th of July. Why do you never do anything around Independence Day?
You got to wonder from a marketing point of view, though, are people going to be watching a pay-per-view on Independence Day?
Of course
Maybe that's why they don't.
They're going to be setting fireworks off in their faces. They're going to be absolutely smashed and have wrestling on in the background.
Yeah, but when there's an event on, let's say Christmas, for instance, you wouldn't put a pay-per-view on Christmas because people are celebrating Christmas.
You don't have to put it exactly on the 4th of July, but around the 4th of July.
So you think a July pay-per-view that celebrates independence of America?
I think so. Just make it...
and the American brand, the Great American Bash.
America pay-per-view. Yeah. Like, I'm weird. I'm British. I celebrate Thanksgiving. I make sure there's NBA basketball on, as well as planes, trains and automobiles every year, because that's what you got to do.
I mean, I appreciate that you embrace the Americana and celebrate Thanksgiving. What are you being thankful for?
Just for life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious.
Yeah. We don't like go around the table and be like, so what do you think? It's just like, I like to celebrate my affinity and love for America, but also for the things that I like in life.
Yeah, I suppose it is a nice one for embracing, like, just taking the time to think about.
Exactly.
And obviously, for Americans, there's a lot more history in terms of the,
Well, yeah, there's I'm not trying to compare.
Yeah, but I like the idea of, like, just taking some time to be thankful for life.
Exactly.
That's nice.
Yeah, so that's what I do every year.
Appreciate that,
Thanksgiving. And if this guy ate chicken or turkey, he'd be invited, but he doesn't, and he's weird, and you should definitely tell him
Not weird.
But yeah, I want to see Cody Rhodes fucking covered in flags.
Covered in flags.
Running around, setting off fireworks, and yeah, who doesn't want to see that? So bring back...
He's going to steal Hulk Hogan's music if he keeps up with it.
Yeah.
I am
probably. So yeah, make it happen. Like a little graphic in there for this one. See, audio listeners, you are missing out.
So this one is a relatively short one, so there's not a lot, like, to be honest, if, like, Judgment Day as a pay-per-view is nothing to write home about in terms of, like, concept. But it's a cooler name than some of the shit we're getting.
Yes.
I want to say it was replaced by, like, fucking Fastlane or some shit, so it was a Payback maybe. I can't remember. It was replaced by a lamer sounding fucking pay-per-view anyway, as far as I'm concerned. Judgment Day is a cooler name, right? And I think now is kind of the time to bring Judgment Day back as a pay-per-view because you can connect it to the Judgment Day.
Yeah.
You could have it as a pay-per-view that focuses on them and their dominance, similar to what we've done with the NWO in the past, or recently, the way, I say recently, it was still a while ago, but the way TNA did it with the Hardys, and they gave them so you do a Judgment Day faction pay-per-view called Judgment Day, and I feel like it doesn't necessarily have to come back forever again. This could just be a one-off, but bring the pay-per-view back as like a a Judgment Day focused thing. Like, they're that dominant that they've now set up their own pay-per-view. They're going to defend all of their belts. They're going to prove their dominance in the WWE. They're going to own this fucking bitch. And then you get John Cena coming out with his golden shovel and be like, nah.
Yeah.
Just when I think I'm out, they throw me back in.
A tale as old as time. But like for me, Judgment Day was always synonymous with Undertaker.
Yes.
I think was it Judgment Day when he came back and made his debut as American Badass and stuff like that. He came down on the Harley and things.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually.
So it's like, for me, I've always thought, Judgment Day, that's it reminds me of Undertaker very much. But I feel like since he's gone away, it's like, well, what do you do? But then now we have got a literal faction called Judgment Day, and you could do something around it again. And like even the sound of it as well, like Judgment Day, like it sounds like there's like a ticking clock element to it, isn't there? So it's like, what is it? Is it like maybe you could put like the whole Cody Rhodes stipulation of like, if you lose at this, you're never going to get a title opportunity again. And it's like, oh. So,
or, like, you could even say, like, if the Judgment Day, I don't like this may be a bit lame, but just as concepts, like, if the Judgment Day don't win every match, then they're forced to disband contractually.
Exactly. There's loads of things
whatever
you can
do. The theme music for the pay-per-view could even be the Judgment Day's music.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest, they run Raw and SmackDown anyway. They're everywhere, getting involved in everything. Yeah. So,
I mean, unless you want to name the pay-per-view after the leader of the Judgment Day and just call it Mammy. But I think Judgment Day sounds better.
Yeah, it does, to be fair.
But let's be honest, we know who's in charge of the Judgment Day.
We do.
She should be the host of this pay-per-view, as far as I'm concerned.
She'd be in every match, wrestling the blokes and the women, and just winning all the titles.
Just bodying everybody.
Because she's a ledge. Which takes us to number 3. Look, I know it's another picture of a scantily clad woman. It's not, but these are the only... right, please.
Yeah, try and find a pay-per-view poster from that era. I get you. I do get you.
Google.
If you'd have Googled Taboo Tuesday instead of Cyber Sunday, you'd have had the same problem, because this is just how WWE operated back then.
Exactly.
I understand, Carl.
Right.
I understand. But I also didn't hear you complaining.
Yeah.
Look at all this damn research we've got to do.
Yeah, just so angry I was just sat there shaking my fist, you know. But Cyber Sunday, we've done a whole What If episode on it before, so if you haven't already, go and check that one out. So we won't go into as much detail here now, obviously, but we live in an age where this kind of pay-per-view is actually fucking possible now.
They were so ahead of their time.
They were, and that's why it sucked.
If you're talking about feminism, I think you're right.
Like, you know, just log on to WWE.com and find this poll and try and fill it. It's like...
And then the server will crash, we won't get your answers, and we just make it up anyway.
Exactly, right? So we're at a point now where you don't even have to do it in advance. You could literally be on the show and be like, okay, we've got these 4 guys here now, vote. And then in the space of a minute, you've had 1 million votes.
They so could use it, right? Because Instagram works so seamlessly for this sort of voting system. They could even drive people to any sort of page they wanted to. Mm-hmm. They could be like, if you want to vote for the Judgment Day's match, you need to go to, like, fucking, who's the worst one in the Judgment Day? You need to go Dominic Mysterio's Instagram page, follow him, and vote. And then you could drive people to fucking subscribe.
I mean, they could, to be fair.
And from an evil marketing point of view, I'm saying.
Oh yeah, like that'd be whole like next level of apeshit crazy, wouldn't it? But like the fact that they did what they did with this, and like I still enjoyed it. Do you know what I mean?
I agree.
People shit on it, but it's like if the technology just wasn't there then and stuff, and I just love the idea of not only actually giving the fans an actual voice, because I think that's what they're terrified of. It's like, well, what if they actually pick someone we don't want?
The key thing is limiting the choices, isn't it? You need to be sure that you're happy with every option, and you give them the options to pick. What you don't do is go, what would you like to see, and leave a big open box, because some people are menaces. Like, do you remember that whole incident there was in this country when they asked the people of Britain to name a boat?
Boaty McBoatface.
Boaty McBoatface.
Yeah.
And that was the overwhelming majority of votes.
Yeah.
And that was because they let them say whatever the fuck they wanted. You need to give them options, man.
Yeah. When they were like, well, you know, maybe you could vote for Donald Trump to be president. And everyone was like, well. And then the next minute he was president.
Oh, let's get political about it.
Nice. Okay. I do not lean any way. I am.
You're a firm centrist.
I am. But yeah. I think we could bring this back today. Maybe not. It's called Cyber Sunday. I don't know. I don't mind it.
The 2 concepts were like this: was Taboo Tuesday and Cyber Sunday. I quite like Taboo Tuesday as a name. To be honest.
The problem there is though
it was a Tuesday.
Yeah, who the fuck's watching on a Tuesday? But yeah, I'm sure we could do something with this concept.
And you could even do Cyber Saturday if you wanted a more reasonable day.
Well, exactly.
It'd be fine.
Yeah, exactly. But it baffles me that they haven't even flirted with the idea of bringing this back in some capacity and actually having voting. driven stuff, because I just think it's they talk about having like a community and engaging them and everything, and it's like, what better way to do that than once a year just going, okay, this is your show, book it.
And I know this may not be something they want to do, but you could even look at this as go, well, the cyber element of it and whatever you want to name it, but you know, this go online and vote, this online pay-per-view could be hosted online, be a Peacock thing,
could be,
you know, maybe even let Peacock as a network do the votes,
do it in show,
on their fucking however they want to do it, but have it as part of the app or even on Instagram, but through Peacock's thing, and then the network are getting a say arguably on the pay-per-view that's exclusive to their network, as an example.
You literally just have a live thing as well, so you can just see it totting up and moving, you know what I mean, not just like drum roll please,
and look, it's the thing,
person,
and because you can watch it in real time, you could even have the wrestlers try and act and react as well, and be like, I didn't think I was going to fight Cody. It's like every option was Cody.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry. But do you know what I mean? Like, even because people were like, is this really what people voted for? Because it'd be like, and the winner is, and it'd go away, and then all of a sudden there'd just be a chart. Like, did you make this like a few hours ago? Like, come on. So
it's like, seems awfully.
Want to see it live, want to see people there, and like actually allow people to work a match together that isn't completely planned out and stuff as well. And
plus, if they know the votes are live and they can see the bars moving, let's say you go, you can already see the votes up for the main event, right? And we know that fucking Finn Balor is in the main event, and then you've got the Judgment Day pestering the audience because they know it's a live pay-per-view and they know the votes are live, so they're trying to barter with you, they're trying to pester them, or they antagonize them to certain ways. Do you know what I mean? Like the interaction with the fan base and with the people at home would be insane because they could see the real-time effect of their heelish behavior in the votes.
Exactly. There's so much such untapped potential. So at least consider.
I think we spent more time on this than we have any other one in this list, and we did a fucking segment on this specifically. So
it just needs to happen. Just make it.
We're very impassioned about this. Just bring it back.
Do it.
Anyway, Carl, No Way Out. No Way Out. Again, this is another one where it's a little bit of just like this was a cool fucking pay-per-view. It's always had a cool look. It's always had a cool gimmick. In terms of substance, I'm not sure there's anything very specific about it as a pay-per-view. There's a lot of history there, and obviously we had the NWO connection at one point as well. But again, this is another one that actually started from In Your House.
Yeah, I think it's more
No Way Out of Texas, I think, was the original.
It's a massive bugbear to us, isn't it? Like you were saying around, like we have to have a pay-per-view every year called Hell in a Cell. So it's like, even if no one's in a grudge match right now, we're going to put him in a cell. Yeah. And it's like, whereas at least calling it No Way Out, it could be a cage match. It could be a Hell in a Cell. It could be an Elimination Chamber. It could be a fucking Punjabi prison match if you want it to be. So
no way out of this fucking situation, basically, is what we're getting at.
Yeah.
But I think it's always been a really cool branding as far as names and, like, what's the word? Because rememberability is something I've definitely made up. Memorability. That was the actual word. Yeah. Memorability. No, that's not even right.
Is that memorabilia?
Memorable. Basically, it sticks in your mind, this one, as a name. Yeah. You know what I mean? I can remember this one. There's loads of, like, think of all the ones, like, since they've fucked off a lot of, like, the Judgment Day pay-per-view and No Way Out and stuff like that, and they go, let's do Fastlane, let's do fucking Roadblock, and yeah, like, I'm just making shit up that I'm fairly
Great Balls of Fire. Do you remember that one?
Balls of fucking fire. Like, I can't. They don't stick in your mind. I'm not even sure the ones I'm listing were pay-per-views. I just think they were. Yeah. Like, because they're not as memorable. No Way Out, memorable as fuck.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, and maybe that's just me because this was my childhood right here. Yeah. This era of WWE when these were the pay-per-views and everything was a bit more rock and roll.
Oh yeah. Right. It just felt like it's No Way Out. Now it's like it's fucking Hell in a Cell. Yeah, it's like
I know, it's Takeover. Yeah. Sorry, I don't know why I'm dissing Takeover. But I think just from a branding point of view, I want No Way Out back. No Way Out.
No way. It's not like you watch the Californians skits on Saturday Night Live. No, he's basically exactly what you sounded like.
Okay. I need to go
get on the 405. Start again. No way.
Nice.
Anyway, so
nice. Yeah. So I can't say a lot about it. Like, in terms of, this was unique because, or, and rant about it like we did with Cyber Sunday. I just think the actual branding is something we should bring back and embrace and get rid of some of the other bullshit we got.
Indeed. Get rid of the bullshit, bring back No Way Out. Which takes us to number one on the list. It had to be King of the Ring, with one huge caveat. Don't turn them into a fucking king after it.
Yes.
Right? We love a tournament bracket on this show.
Yes.
We love the concept of like, oh, well, you've got all these names and who's going to be the final two and they're going to get something at the end of it. What they shouldn't get at the end of it is an actual fucking crown, a scepter, and a dodgy British accent. Yeah. It's not how it works. We should have a tournament that's set, like, I've said this before, we've got SummerSlam. They see it as like the number 2 show after WrestleMania, which is mental. But, okay, we'll go with it, right? You have the Rumble, which is meant to be the lead into WrestleMania, which again is too long. It used to be the Rumble at the end of January, WrestleMania at the start of March.
Yeah, which made more sense then.
Yeah. Now it's like, well, we'll get this in April somewhere, and we'll do the Rumble somewhere in the middle. And it's just too much.
We're getting to a point now where it's like, if you win the Rumble, you get a match at Mania, but fuck knows who you'll be fighting. Well, exactly. We've got like 700 pay-per-views
exactly.
before then.
So it's like, it's not the same anymore. Whereas for me, you've got SummerSlam. And I know I was saying before, like, you know, we've got, we should have Great American Bash in July, and SummerSlam is in August. But King of the Ring, June, make it happen. King of the Ring, you do that, you crown the winner, they get a SummerSlam match.
Yeah.
Job done. Because then there's
job done.
There's a reason then.
Fucking bish bash bosh in the shit. Like, rock up in the creative room, go, right, fucking June, fucking King of the Ring, they go on to SummerSlam, done, boom, I'm out. They're just like, what's that guy?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it just baffles me because after WrestleMania, there's nothing until the Rumble where it's like, here's your chance to crown somebody and put them in the title picture. It just doesn't happen. Unless there's a feud or somehow they find their way into it. It's just, we need to have something where you could have, I don't know, someone a little bit unconventional, like a fucking, who's somebody who's nowhere near the title picture at the minute, but could be. Like, what happens if...
Dave from Accounting.
Yeah, like Dave.
He is nowhere near the title picture.
But I mean, like, say Gunther, he's the Intercontinental Champion, he's nowhere near the likes of Roman and, you know, Seth
that
and
is
stuff.
true.
Imagine if there's a King of the Ring, Gunther enters it, he wins, even though it's Intercontinental Champion.
And
he gets
a fucking monster, isn't he?
Yeah, and it's like, oh shit. You know what I mean? You can just make people in this tournament. You look at like Stone Cold was made in this tournament. Like, there's so many instances.
And look, I'm all for having a Queen of the Ring as well, right?
But so am I, but I don't think we should change the name.
No, exactly. The name is like a more of a historical recognition thing.
Basically, it fucking rhymes. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
King and Queen of the Ring didn't work.
It doesn't work.
And it is just about alliteration for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Like, you know,
it rolls off the tongue much nicer.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait for King of the Ring. Sounds much better than I can't wait for King and Queen of the Ring.
But yeah, definitely need to drop the dodgy fucking gimmicks afterwards. Didn't work for Selena. Didn't work for what's his fucking wrestling name?
What's his real name? Who do you mean?
From New Day.
Oh, Xavier Woods.
Xavier. I was going to call him Austin Creed because I watch him more enough Up, Down, Down, and I couldn't remember his name for a second.
Yeah, didn't work for Xavier. The only person it's worked for recently is Booker.
Yeah, didn't work for Corbin. No. And we tried to make that last for a while. It did not work for Corbin. No. It just doesn't work. No. It's a stupid idea. Like, if you win King of the Ring, you get to pretend to be royalty. It's like, what kind of prize is that?
Who would enter the tournament? It's gimmick suicide, isn't it?
Honestly, I'd love it if they just maybe all were so self-aware that that's what happens to you, that they all try and lose the tournament. That would be fucking funny.
I would love that. But like part of me thinks that's why they've not brought it back, is because like, oh well, it never works. It's like, well, just don't fucking make them.
Give them an actual prize.
Yeah, like literally have it be to win a title shot, or like to make them like the next superstar. Yeah. Like that's what it should be about. So
this is why your fucking Andre Battle Royals never work either, because you give them a big Andre fucking trophy that, all due respect to the late great Andre the Giant, just where are you going to put that in your house? And you get nothing else.
I mean, the women's version of that was fucking just even worse. They gave literally a trophy.
It was like a vagina.
Yeah, it was a vagina. And it was like, go women. Like, what a great way to do that. So yeah, just have it. A tournament, a men's and a women's tournament, still called King of the Ring, where you go, you're going to be the next big star, you're going to win this, and then this is your push, right? Just do that.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, them's be our 10 WWE pay-per-views / premium live events that should be brought back. Let us know in the comments, do you agree, do you disagree? Is there something we left off that you're absolutely flabbergasted because it needs to come back?
Flabbergasted.
Let us know. Or if we lost our minds, are we saying that, I don't know, maybe you think Cyber Sunday's the worst idea in the world? Let us know.
You're allowed to be wrong, it's fine.
Exactly. So do the likes, do the subs, do the comments, and we'll catch you on the next one.